Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast, and it is Friday. So TGIF, I guess, or maybe not. I hope it's good to be that it's Friday. And I wasn't sure what to do this evening, and I thought I was going to do a longer, more detailed show, but I did kind of one yesterday. I went long yesterday, so I thought maybe I shouldn't do that today. Maybe I'll do that Saturday instead. I'm moving our members show until Monday at 8 p.m. I've already got 2 people scheduled. I need to get one more, and I should be set for that. So Monday should be fine. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about, but I'll figure it out when the time comes. It'll be a fun show. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a longer one. I think probably on like Ukraine or something. I haven't done something like that in a while, so I'll probably pop it up. But I figured today we'll do a bit of an AMA, chat a bit, see what's going on, if you guys want to chat about that. But there was something that was bugging me as I always start these AMAs. And it's the idea that now people don't like Elon Musk. Like now, they don't like Elon Musk. And you're saying, well, Larry, they've never liked Elon Musk. Well, no, that's not true. Did many people on the far left not like Elon Musk? Yes, that's true. Many of them did because they just didn't like him because he was wealthy. And that's actually for some of those people, they were consistent. But for the average Democrat, that wasn't true. The average Democrat, if you go back about 3-4 years ago, they thought he was one of the greatest guys in the world. He was the awesomest guy ever. And all of a sudden, now he isn't. You might go, well, it's because Trump, right? That's the reason, because Trump. But a lot of people supported Trump, and they're not getting the same amount and vitriol, the same amount of hate and vitriol. It's not that. That's different, right, in that regard. So I wanted to bring something up, which I thought was interesting. I found this from 3 years ago, and I thought this is kind of interesting. This is a difference between, by the way, the name of what I'm going to show you. It's called, Why Do People Love Elon Musk? I'm not joking, but not Jeff Bezos. This is from 3 years ago. Again, from 3 years ago. Just watch the beginnings of it. I think it's very funny to see.
When Jeff Bezos announced he was blasting off to space in the summer, there was a petition that he shouldn't return to Earth. Actually, there were quite a few. Questions like this often pop up online. Why do people like Elon Musk and dislike Jeff Bezos? And Musk has
this is 3 years ago.
Just been named the 2021 Time Person of the Year.
Now, that happened 4 years ago, but this thing came out 3 years ago, right? And he was named actually 2021. So actually, this happened 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, because he was named for 2021. So it's happened in 2022. It actually happened 3 years ago. 3 years ago, he was the person of the year. 3 years ago, they loved him. They were doing, this is like a regular station just doing a story about him because they love him.
We're going to examine the reasons Musk has an army of fangirls and fanboys.
Fangirls and fanboys. Well, those fangirls are gone. They don't exist anymore, but he had them, right?
Whereas Bezos, not so much. And why Musk is starting to alienate some people as well. A Quora user gave his 2 cents on why he thinks Musk is more likable. Maybe because he engages people more via his social media.
So they like that he engages social media? I'm not sure that's accurate. They like that he does it?
Musk loves to respond to the general public on Twitter, allowing him to build a powerful connection with his 65 million and counting followers. He shares memes, dad jokes, inappropriate jokes.
Inappropriate jokes. So inappropriate jokes used to be good. Not no more. They used to be good. Now they're
not.
The
opposite of a carefully crafted corporate image, which appeals to his fan base. When Bezos uses Twitter, he's super professional, like this tweet about how Amazon proved.
So to be clear, she's saying people like how Musk uses Twitter.
Its early doubters wrong. Musk then poked fun at him by replying with a silver medal emoji. Bezos didn't bother responding, but his rocket company Blue Origin has blasted Musk's SpaceX, labeling SpaceX's Starship lunar lander immensely complex and high risk. So? NASA didn't think so when it awarded SpaceX a contract to return American astronauts to the moon.
Now this goes back. This is the part that why libertarians didn't like Musk in a way because he's a massive government grifter. That's true, right? But we don't like any government grifters, right? That's the issue.
Blue Origin protested the decision by suing and lost, prompting Musk to share this meme of Judge.
So these used to be good memes. Now they're not good memes anymore. This is a big difference.
Dredd from the film saying, "You have been judged." Bezos' space venture is still trying to catch up to SpaceX.
So that the reason why I brought that piece up is that was done by Newsthink. Newsthink isn't notoriously right-wing crazy. That's not what it was at all. But I'm not done. I have one which I think you'll really love, because this one's called "Is Elon Musk helping the planet more than Greenpeace?" And guess where this one's from? MSNBC. This is 2 years ago. So MSNBC, they were saying, hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. He's a good guy now, right?
Behind the wheel of this kind of vehicle.
The jury is still out on whether electric cars can ever really be practical.
Tesla Motors will roll their first 100 all-electric cars out factory doors this summer.
This is the first all-electric sports car, the Roadster, made by Tesla Motors, a small startup in Northern California.
You can have a fast, cool,
they loved him.
beautiful electric car.
This is MSNBC 2 years ago talking about how great he is.
You may think Elon Musk is wrong about all kinds of things, but he did get part of the innovation right, and that's why the current moment for electric cars is about much more.
So he's talking about how great he was for electric cars. It's 2 years ago. It's like, well, I don't know about him yet, but he's still good because electric cars. They still liked him. Now, fast forward to this is now like yesterday or something. I mean, this is very recent. This is like this year. This is Charlie Kirk now. People are attacking. They're now attacking Charlie Kirk. I mean, they always attack Charlie Kirk. He goes in for this. I'm not getting behind Charlie Kirk here. I'm just saying Charlie Kirk goes to colleges all the time, and usually just yell at him, right? That's why he goes. He gets content. He gets yelled at. He usually doesn't yell back, but he gets yelled at. That's his shtick, right? So, like I hate Charlie Kirk, that's his shtick. But now they go there and they don't yell at Charlie Kirk about, I don't know, people on the Daily Wire or about Ben Shapiro or whatever. They're now mad at Charlie Kirk about Elon Musk. So what? Yes, here we go.
On the planet. I mean,
okay, so like Elon Musk, is he one of the elites?
Well, he's not communist, but he is an elite.
Okay, so why should we succumb to the whims of these elites as opposed to,
Well, it's a good question, actually. I think we need.
So, not that you should care either way about what elites, what this guy's saying. Obviously, again, Charlie Kirk goes to these places. He's purposely trying to bait people who are left-leaning to fight him. That's his shtick. But usually it's like, why are you a bad guy, Charlie Kirk? Or why are you, try his turning point, destroying America? Or whatever is the thing they're going to say, right? That's the normal stuff he gets. He's a little thrown by this. You can see he's like, he's like, this hasn't happened before. Now they want to yell at him about Elon Musk. And that's the odd piece. Yelling at him about Elon Musk is a new thing.
Elites, and I think Elon's a great manifestation of that. We're never going to get rid of elites. You see, our country was largely propelled thanks to great elites like Andrew Carnegie and.
Well, the thing that he's going to talk about here, Professor, is elites in business. I get it. But the problem is this guy, the guy who is yelling at him or upset with him right now, he actually loves elites. He just loves academic elites, right? He just loves academic elites. So if you're like some academic elite and you sit in an ivory tower somewhere and talk about how bad all the poors are, or how, how honorable all the poors are, but please stay poor because I don't like you poors and stay over there. Then he goes, oh, you're a great elite. Then you're a great elite. But the other elites are bad ones.
Rockefeller and people like Bernard Baruch in the 1940s or 50s.
These are New Yorkers, by the way.
We're never going to get rid of elites. Elon Musk is the best of this example, using his wealth and his treasure to reinvest back in the country.
I don't know. It just seems like if you,
I'm not sure I go that far, Charlie. But I get what you're saying, but I'm not sure I go
you're
that far.
so against the elite, why are you, I don't know, supportive of any elites? Shouldn't we just be against the interests of any of elites?
No, I'm not against the idea of elites. You're always.
I think this is the point. This kid, he's a youngster, so I don't blame him. But he's been trained that if you are elite, you are by default bad. But he doesn't really mean that. What he actually means is if you are elite who makes more money than me or doesn't like the politics,
something.
then
top
you're
of an
bad.
institution, top of a school, top of a sporting event. The question is,
That's right.
will those people be noble and have duty, courage, and strong ethics? That's always been the question.
So then why are you touting Elon Musk as a good example?
Again, so he goes right back to Elon Musk. He's about elites, Elon Musk. What is his goal? This guy's goal is say Elon Musk is bad. That's his goal. Say Elon Musk is bad. Just admit or be caught in some way saying Elon Musk is bad. That's his goal.
Because he's a great example. He gives a lot of money away.
There's no more. Well, there is. I'm sorry. No more. Sorry. At the top, Orange Man bad has become Spaceman bad. I don't. What are you going to call it? Kind of autistic man bad. I don't know. What are you going to call it? Right? But it's no longer. Well, top is no longer Orange Man bad. It's now like, well, Spaceman bad. Really, we've been trying Orange Man bad for 10 years. It hasn't worked. I know. We're going to change our policies to have actual policies and ideas that people on the left might want to embrace. No. Oh, okay. We're going to get charismatic leaders who will be able to move people to give us good ideas. No. Well, then what are we going to do if Orange Man bad doesn't work anymore? Spaceman bad. Spaceman bad. That's just Orange Man bad, swapping the word out. Yes. Genius. And there's like 3 people who are going, yes. We'll go Spaceman bad. That'll fix it. But no. You got people going, but no. Can't we like either have some charisma or have some policies or something? Why would we do that? That takes energy and time. And then that shows respect to the poors. And we hate the poors. We just tell them that we care about them. So why would we actually want to help them? We don't want to do that. We want to act like we want to help them. And so now we'll go Spaceman bad. That will work. Okay. And he's doing it here.
He also bought X, which saved freedom of speech in the West, $50 billion that allowed us to speak freely. And he's now sacrificing a lot of his time where he could be on a yacht in Monaco trying to find waste in our federal government so that your taxpayer dollars are better spent. That is an example of a noble elite.
I'm not sure I go there, but he can't believe it.
I wouldn't necessarily call that noble. I mean, there's plenty of stuff that.
So what would you like to have someone worth $450 billion
now,
do?
The piece that he says
like
here,
if there weren't people worth $450 billion.
See, there we go. So he goes, now he self-reports because they have to do that. They can't not self-report. So he does. And he's like, yeah, I want to make sure that there's nobody who makes money because money's bad, except when I have it, that it's great. So money's bad.
But
so,
okay,
yeah.
That's not the question. What would you like to have him do?
Huh?
What would you?
He's like, huh? Huh means I have no idea. You asked me a question and I don't know. How do I go Elon Bird? How do I do Spaceman bad?
You like to have him do? He's worth $400.
Give away more of his money.
That's it. Just become poorer, and then by default, he will become a better person. So all you people who are watching, who have any amount of money that's worth something, you're getting close to being bad. Just give your money away. And here's what I would say. Do the right thing. Give your money away so this kid will like you, and do it by becoming a member of my channel. That's how you can become a better person. He will like you, and so will I. If you just click that membership join button, $49 per month, do that. Give your money away. Don't be like Elon. Spaceman is bad. Don't be bad Spaceman. Instead, $49 per month. Make sure, remember, if you're on Rumble, you can click that subscribe button during live. Same thing. Either way, don't be a bad person like this young man is saying. Don't be like Spaceman bad. Do that instead. Well, Larry, I don't have that much money. Okay, I got it. We're not all spacemen. It's fine. If you don't, you can still click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. You can do that. That's free. And if you're not already rich, making bazillions of dollars, you're not by default evil. You can do this and you'll be fine. See that? You can do this and you'll be fine. This young man will like you, and so will I. Easy day. Well, share it, repost if you haven't already. And if you want to, if you haven't already, please subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on Facebook, X, and Rumble. All those things are important. Let me wrap him up real fast.
Other causes, because it seems like
other causes. See, you got to give your money, but not to the cause he wants. Then you become okay.
Nobody is going to use $450 billion in their entire life.
That's not. But he gave away $50.
I just want to say, yeah, the kid had to self-report, and I just want to make sure that was clear. I hope you guys enjoyed that piece. But now, so what am I going to wrap this up with? Here is the real reason why they hate him so much. You might say, Larry, it's because he's, he is rich, and that's the reason. No, not the major reason. It isn't. They like lots of rich people. That isn't the reason. It's because they have no control. He wasn't voted in. Almost none of the people who run things are voted in by us. Some are, at least said yes by the Senate, but that's not because we said that, right? So that's not the case either. So either of those two is not true. He's breaking up the establishment. That's part of it. That is part of it. Remember, two things happened at the same time. Number one, same reason why RFK Jr. is so hated by the left. If you go back 10 years, the left loved RFK Jr. Democrats loved him. He was the environmental battle fighter. He was this knight that was doing it. He was amazing. They loved him. Two things that they couldn't accept. One, he turned against the Democratic Party and then embraced Donald Trump. You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take him away. That's it. You are now a traitor. And that's the issue. They literally hate Elon Musk more than Charlie Kirk. Because Charlie Kirk was never a Democrat. So he's not a traitor. He's just a regular bad guy, right? So he's the regular bad guy that we hate, like we hate all the regular bad guys. Elon used to be one of us. We used to buy his cars. And so he tricked us. And he's a traitor. He must go. I supported RFK Jr. And now he turned on us. So now he's a traitor and he's got to go. That's why they hate him so much. They are traitors. That's the issue. More than anything. You might go, Larry, it's because of his pop. No, it's not because of that. It's not. It's why they hate RFK Jr. so much. It's why they hate him so much. It's because they see him as a traitor. And that's the actual reason why that's the case. Everything else is secondary. He's a traitor. Let me grab some comments and questions. I just want to bring that up here. I thought it was kind of interesting. So, all right. We got a lot of comments. This is an AMA, so I will be more lenient today on taking questions. I will do that. So Vivek says, to the left, because he's a billionaire and tech bro. No, they loved Sam Bankman-Fried until he got caught. Tech bro, kind of billionaire-ish. They loved him until he got caught. So no, that isn't the issue. The average Democrat just hates that he is unelected and believes he's spreading misinformation. Yeah, but they didn't care about that before. Yeah. So Vivek says the popular swing of MAGA also hates Elon because they hate the tech bros. Yes, but they don't like him for a different reason. They don't like him because they think he's usurping their space. So yes, but different reason. If you were part of the MAGA crew, you thought, look, I've been here the whole time. I've been here since 2015. Here comes Elon, and all of a sudden he's brand new. He's going to walk in, take my spot because he's got money. So yeah, some of that, is an issue. 100%. That's an issue for sure. So Ganjin says, Democrats are hypocrites. They always do. Elon Musk was like this. Don't get me wrong. I still view Elon Musk as a troll for the past 10 years. I don't trust trolls. Yeah, but he was theirs. Ganjin, you're right. You're correct, right? They knew he was a troll, but you saw in the art and the thing I just showed you. They were like, we like that he's a troll because he's our troll. He was their troll. All good. Shelley says, Democrats just left my house. He has a weird idea about libertarians. He thought we support death penalty. Here's the reason why. Most people don't know what libertarians are. That's true. Most don't, even libertarians. They don't know what libertarians are. So they assume they're bad because they don't know them. Many people assume that libertarians are like worse Republicans, whatever they think Republican is worse. So they assign negative traits to them. All the time I hear, you libertarians with the corporations and everything. Utterly not true. Not even close. None of you've ever seen me be pro-monopoly or pro-corporatist ever. You've never seen that ever in me. And I've run for office twice. And I've been doing this for now, how many years? 8, 9 years now. And never happened one time. But they believe it because you're not me. Therefore, you're bad. Therefore, I must assign every negative trait to you. And that guy probably doesn't like death penalty. So he assigned that to us. That's just kind of how it works. It's human nature. I can't stand it, but yes. So yes. All righty. Shelley says, Larry's photo of him in a suit, but we all know he'll be wearing a tee or a hoodie or both. Accurate statement, Shelley. Accurate statement. You are correct. Dave says, did you hear Trump wants to send people responsible for torching Teslas to El Salvador? That's utterly on brand. Totally on brand, Dave. And I bet he doesn't want any due process either. I bet he wants, I just point and go, I think it was that guy. And that guy goes off to El Salvador. I bet he wants that too, right? Unless you go, I think it was that guy. Who'd he vote for? What? Wasn't Trump. El Salvador. I totally on brand, Dave. I don't know if that's true. I did not hear that, but I believe it. Totally on brand. Absolutely. Totally on brand. Absolutely. So Kim says, was a really good show yesterday. Oh, Kim, thank you for that. It was a long one. It was a long one. I appreciate that. Michael says, choose me, Larry. I know I saw what you put up. I did see it. And I'm looking at that now. I've got to pick between two people, and I'm not sure which one. So I'm looking now to see who I can bring on. If I can't bring on this one, Michael, I'll bring you the next one. If I can't bring in this one, I'll bring you the next one. I'm trying to not bring the same people on. The problem is I did get people who wanted the show. It was the same people who were on last time. And I wanted to get people who weren't on last time. And that's why I had to push it. Because like everybody who was on last time loved it. So they all want to come on again. And I get it. It's a lot of fun. I know people who want to come on and do that. It's great. But I wanted to get different people. That's why I waited. And then when I did it, I got more people. So yes, it was good and it was bad. Shelly says, yesterday was a great show and chat. The chat's always good, right? The chat is always good. You guys are great. I'm very glad that we have, people have told me, even my own team here or there, but people who are around me have said, Larry, your show could be so much bigger and so much stronger if you did blah, 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 blah. And they're right. They're right. If you covered this, that, and the other thing, they're right. It's true. But I wouldn't cultivate the audience that I want. I wouldn't have the desire to do this, and I just wouldn't do it because I just wouldn't do it. Like I do this because it's a passion and I love it and I want to be part of this. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it, right? I mean, obviously, I don't make any money doing this, so obviously that's why I do it, right? So I don't have a sponsor, right? So I lose money doing this. Why? Because I want to do it. If I decided to just be one of those guys, yeah, I'll just be some hardcore libertarian, yell government bad no matter what, and just yell at people and do debates where I just own people and stuff like that. I could do that stuff, but then I wouldn't want to do it. I'd rather do stuff I want. And then the problem is then you cultivate that, right? And if you've seen, for those of you who followed me on other channels, you will see that on other channels, their chat has been cultivated a specific way, which is blood sport, we're right, blood sport, we're right. That's it. It's not a back and forth. There's a bunch of people scolding people who aren't like them. That's their chat. I don't want that. Could I get that where I just bring on hardcore libertarians and everyone who's not a hardcore libertarian gets yelled at? Yeah, you can see that. Those channels already exist. They already exist. So what do you need me for? Well, I am smarter and better looking than most libertarians. So I guess that's true. I would be a better one of those. But anyway, there'd be a better one of those, right? So I'd have something for it. This is what I just did right now.
Me.
I am that good. It's true. It is all about me. Anyway, it is all about me, literally. So that's why I didn't want to do it. I thought you guys might enjoy that one. So in any case, all right. Kim says 3 years ago they all thought he was taking care of them. Yes, that's accurate. They thought that was the case. Mike goes on to say Dems loved Musk and his money when it was behind their ideology and candidates. True, and true. Same with Bezos and others. Well, Bezos, not as much. Bezos seemed to be a lot less charismatic, which he is less charismatic. And it's funny because Elon Musk is not really charismatic, but he can be funny. That's the difference, right? Musk can be funny. Bezos not so much. So Musk can be funny. So yeah, I that's true, yes, Mike, but not as much with Bezos. Much more with Musk. Andrew says, I made it. Love the AMAs more than anything. Now, first question. Every ideology has its weaknesses. No exception. No. Libertarianism is perfect. I'm kidding. If you could point out, what would you say the weakness of libertarianism? There's a lot of them, actually. The number one weakness to libertarianism, number one, is that most libertarians communicate in a way that comes across as being selfish. That is the number one problem that libertarianism has. Number one weakness is most come across as being selfish. They don't talk about the community. They don't talk about helpfulness. An example I often give is I'll go to an event where I'll be speaking and it'll be all libertarians. And I'll say, how many of you here are against universal health care? And all the hands go up. And I go, so if I gave you a plan that was voluntary and market-based and it covered everybody, you'd be against it? And you go, yeah, you're not against universal health care. What you're against is single government monopoly health care. That's what you're against. But you don't communicate that way. You communicate the way that they want you to communicate, which I'm against universal health care, which makes it sound like you want old people to die. That is our biggest weakness, without question, is that we communicate as a whole, not all of us, but as a whole, I wouldn't even say not even all of us, the vast majority of us communicate in a way that sounds selfish. Number two, most libertarians, and this is, again, vast majority, I mean like 80%, only care about virtue signaling. They do not care about making impact. They don't care about changing someone's mind. They don't care about anyone liking them. None of that. They only care about virtue signaling. So if I say, hey, I have a plan to fix this thing that is libertarian, they won't go, great idea, Larry. They'll go, that's not libertarian enough. Why is the government this? I got to tell you how bad you are. They will just virtue signal. And they have confused virtue signaling with righteousness. So what they'll say, you hear libertarians all the time say, I had to call it out. I had to be honest. Be very clear. Every one of you libertarians who says, my job is to be honest. No, it isn't. You made your job up. Your job isn't that. No one pays you for that. Stop. That's not your job. You made it up. You're self-righteous, number one. Number two, they'll say, I had to point it out. No, you didn't. You didn't have to. You chose to because you want to be self-righteous. And it's okay. You can. You don't have to keep your mouth shut. You can call things out. I'm not saying you can't. Your First Amendment, I support it. You can. But stop acting like you had to. You didn't have to. You chose to because you're self-righteous, because you want a virtue signal. Remember something, all you libertarians out there. You have a choice. You can at any time you want. Shut your mouth. That's a choice you can make. You don't have to. First Amendment, say what you want to say. But you have an option to say and not to say. If you remember, when Milei took over a year ago, I did a whole show on this, but over a year ago, I said, please, shut up. Give the man a year. And I said nothing about him for a year. I didn't like everything he did. I said nothing. I kept my mouth shut until a year. I could have been attacking things he didn't like. I could have been. I didn't. I chose to shut my mouth. So I practice what I preach. I didn't like Chase Oliver's campaign last year. I didn't like it at all. I thought it wasn't going to work. That was a failed campaign. Now, when I was campaigning against him with Lars, I said so. Once he got the nomination, what did I do? I shut up. I could have been attacking him. Oh, his campaign's bad. By the way, I like Chase personally. I think he's a good guy himself. He's a good libertarian. I don't care what people say. If you attack Chase, you're wrong. He's a good libertarian. His campaign and his plan was garbage. And I said that off the bat. His plan was garbage. It was doomed to fail, and it did. But did I say that during the campaign? It's garbage. She's embarrassing us. No, I could have. I shut up. So libertarians could learn that sometimes you can just shut up and go live your life and let stuff go. Stop being so damn self-righteous. Stop trying to virtue signal all the time, and stop acting like you're so damn selfish. I hope I answered your question. Let me grab a couple of these if I can. Lunatic says, Larry, I'm waiting for a time date for Rumble. Yes, I will get you on Rumble coming up here. 100%. Yes, I will. Lunatic goes on to say, I'm against all healthcare. Learn holistic. No more dollars. There we go. Yes. Ryan says, for $5, thank you, Ryan. Larry, when you talk about libertarians only want to virtue signal, would that be the best explanation for you and Laws like an LP nomination? 100% yes. Now, I'm going to try not to be triggered. Mike right now is literally gritting his teeth. I'm going to try to not be triggered. I'm going to try to be calm about this. See, Mike, I'm breathing. You don't got to text me. I'm breathing. Okay. All right. The Libertarian Party, last year and years before, cared tremendously about the rift between the CLC, in the past known as the Prags, and the Mises Caucus. They cared tremendously about that. I said, nobody cares. They said, no, it's critical. We have to distance ourselves. Blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares. We did nothing last year. No impact. That back and forth risk means nothing. But they care about that tremendously. So I said, okay, you care about that? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you somebody, because you do care about it. I'm gonna give you somebody who's not part of either caucus. A guy named Lars Masted, part of no caucus, self-funded, great plan. I'm on board, got a team, ready to go. Solves your problem. And they went, oh, wow, it solves our problem. But wait, then I can't virtue signal and tell the world which side I'm on. Because I have to tell the world which side I'm on. I have to tell the world that I'm on a Mises Caucus side or I'm on a CLC side. I have to tell them that because of the virtue signal. So I've got to do that. Yeah, but this would solve the problem and you have to worry about it. He's not part of any caucus. And we have impact. And we'll probably win an electoral vote, which we would have done for sure. And they went, but no, but then I can't tell people what side I'm on. And they were more worried about that. I literally warned them more than once. If they don't pick them, less than $1 million, probably less than $500,000. We did that. Less than $500,000 raised, of course. Losing ballot access, we did 3 states, gone. We'll come in 5th behind Jill Stein because she was funded by the anti-war left. We came in 5th. This is all, I got receipts and all of this. I said all of this before they picked. So I said this like a year ago. And I said the internal fighting will be legendary. And it is. We're suing each other, trying to get people investigated. All, by the way, useless shit. Useless. I know some of you be mad at me. No, we got to make sure we get this person, that person. Nobody cares. Let it go. Move on. Make some goddamn impact. Make some impact. We're making no impact. This is a chance for us to move forward. We're making no impact because we're so busy trying to virtue signal and clean house and distance ourselves. And nobody cares. Nobody else. And I know I'm the guy who raises the money. I'm the guy who talks to the press. They don't care. They think we're useless. They think we're a joke. And sadly, in many cases, they're right. We should change that. I didn't get triggered, Mike. I was calm. I was good. I didn't get triggered. Ryan says, Lars are 2028. I don't know. We'll see how that works. But anyway, I do appreciate that, Ryan. I do. You asked the question. I gave you an honest answer. I hope that makes sense. So I'm being cool. I did not get triggered. I was good. Okay. Let's go on. All righty. Dave says, Larry, libertarians like Musk now because he's getting rid of all government agencies. Some do, but a lot of them are also very skeptical. I'm one of them. Because is it really? One of my biggest worries, Dave, is that he will get rid of the agencies, but not really, and it will fail, and people will then go, you libertarians can't do anything. Musk tried and he failed. That is my biggest worry. If he's going to fail, and it sounds horrible, I'd rather him not do it. And I'm going to use the Jackie Robinson example. You might go, Jackie Robinson? Yeah. When you're going to put a black man in a white baseball league, he needs to be a very special black man. It can't be any black man. And they picked a very special black man. And that was the right move. Because if he had gone in there and wasn't good or fought back or whatever the case may be, wasn't the right guy, well then, see, we can't integrate with these black people, see? And it's another 50 years before we have a regular league where everybody can play. So I don't know if Elon's that guy, Dave. And that is my worry. That is my worry. So yes, I get you. And I hope that makes sense at least. So, all righty. Mike says the student is only trying for the culpable comment to push an ideological agenda. It said, yes. Do you mean culpable? Yes, I think that's true. Yes, that's the point. I agree. Pete says, but Larry, I think you mean, do you think there will be another C war? I don't want to say it out loud because YouTube, but what? Cancel it. I'm already getting canceled. So, do I think so? Maybe. I think it's possible. I don't. If there is one, 2 things. One, to be forward, it would only come. If it would happen, 2 things. One, it would not be like wouldn't be like state against state. Like that's not a thing. Like it wouldn't be like California against New York or New York against. That's not a thing. It wouldn't actually be that because our country is not divvied up by states. It's divvied up by urban versus rural more than anything else. So I think that would be a problem. It'd be a very bloody war in that regard. Second, if it were to happen, the hardest part would be the left-leaning people, unless they find a real messiah, are going to have no chance of victory. I don't mean to be cruel about this. I'm just being forward, right? Generally speaking, if there's a civil war, it'll be right versus left. The right will win because it's more aggressive, more masculine, has more weapons. It's just going to win. And all the elite forces are all right-leaning, right? All our elite forces in America are right-leaning. You go, well, the military's woke. Well, it actually isn't. And the elite forces are not. So I have so many of them left, right? So, yeah, there's almost no chance. And, yeah. And if you look at the left right now, there was just recently maybe I'll talk about this tomorrow maybe. But there was recently a poll showing how the Democratic Party, the left, is heavily, as I've been saying forever, it is heavily a party of educated women. And educated meaning college educated women. College educated women are not going to do well in a confrontation, as you mentioned. They're not going to do well, right? You're going to want people who are prepared to be very violent with weaponry and things like that. And that's going to be the right. And there's no chance. There's YouTube videos on this. There's studies on this. There's no chance. And generally speaking, if you have anything that is nationalistic, anything that is fascistic, which if there's a civil war, the right will be fascistic if they do it. The left will probably be communistic, authoritarian, will be my assumption that if there is one. They'll both claim to be democratic. Neither will be, but they'll claim to be democratic. They will claim to care about the poor. They won't, but they'll claim that. And in internal battles, not external, internal, fascists always win. I'm not joking on this. Every fascists always win. So whichever side's more fascistic will be the victor. I think that's how it works. Right. So anyway, hope that makes sense. But second part, I'm sorry. The other part I'm going to bring up is we have delayed it because I said the right will be stronger with the election of Trump. Whatever violence would have happened, we've delayed it. Because now you're not going to have that piece. How will we know it's happening? Here's how you'll know. Here will be the trigger that you will know. You will go, it's happening. And that is, you will see organized capturing of government buildings. That is how you will know that conflict that you mentioned, the CW, is happening. I don't mean one guy goes, let's take over the post office. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you will see groups of men organized in some way, shape, or form, moving into government buildings saying, we now control it, we are the thing. Second thing that will happen, well, you know, the local governments will call out their local guard, National Guard, and the National Guard will not show. They will not show up. When the National Guard does not show up and local buildings, governments are being captured, we are in that. That will be your trigger. You'll know. So Larry said, that's when you will know. This is why every single time someone's trying to make it happen, like in that special book, which I cannot mention, the TURNER diary, those of you know what I'm talking about, that book and others that many of the people who are on that side of the world, outside of the political spectrum want to use, they look at that one, and it's always about attacking some large infrastructure, government buildings, something like that. So it's about that. And that's supposed to trigger it because that will be the trigger, if that makes any sense. So I went kind of long, but I hope that makes sense. So looking over at Rumble, Straight End says, thank you for the $5, my friend. Do you think there's a chance of Congress voting to eliminate the DOE? No, no, I don't see that happening. There's too much money there. I don't see it happening. And the problem is if you eliminate DOE, and you're a congressman, something goes wrong, they're going to blame you. So I don't see it. I think they will. I think they won't do it unless all of a sudden you see a massive popular increase in eliminating DOE. Most Americans are not 100% behind this. They're very afraid. They're worried, concerned. They'll take it if other things are going well. But this will not be the first thing for many people to say. So I don't think they will do it. My gut would be no. Now, talk to me in 6 months if it's changed, right? If you see that people are getting happier. Look, if you actually gave, and this is what I hope will happen, I'm not sure it will. If the states actually gave local people more control over their actual school districts, oh my God, would moms be happy? Oh my God, would moms be happy? And I don't mean to be, an ist when I say that, but it's true. Moms would be so happy if they actually had real control over their kids' education. Oh my God. My worry is states just replace the death grip that the federal DOE has with a death grip from the state DOE. I hope I'm wrong, but that's my worry. So yeah, hope that makes sense. Straight End also says maybe many buildings will go away. I think some might. That might actually happen. So, but I think that's the first. You'll know that's happening. So yeah. Over on I'm sitting here over on Instagram. The Nikki says, where do I find the real chat? You can find it right here on where you are, or you can also go to Sharpe Way YouTube. There's also a chat on there. I see the chat on as many as I possibly can see, but the biggest chat is on Sharpe Way YouTube. That's where the biggest chat is. People also chat on Facebook too, but the biggest chat is on YouTube. So if you want to go there, the Sharpe Way YouTube page, that's where the biggest chat is. So, but there's several chats as I go back and forth. There's one on Rumble too, going back and forth. Yeah, there's like 4 chats going on. So, but the biggest one is on YouTube. So, all right, let me keep going down here if I could. Lunatic, thank you for the $9. 99 says, people in the Libertarian Party do not like me because I don't mince words in person or online. I absolutely back everything up said. I am in practice daily, suffering all the way. Wisdom is not free. True wisdom is not free. There's no saying. You probably know, Lunatic. It is experience. Yeah, hold on. Good judgment comes from experience. Experience comes from bad judgment. So that kind of is what you just said. Similar to that, yes. And again, Lunatic, if you want to actually make impact, the Libertarian Party doesn't do that. That gets in the way of virtue signaling. Why would you want to make impact? Well, I can't show the world how virtuous I am. I can't show them that I'm a real libertarian and you're not. And that's all that really matters. I mean, and the old joke is Libertarian Party winning arguments and losing elections for 50 years. Not really wrong. But because of that, we win arguments. Often, like if you argue with libertarian, you will often lose the argument because many of them are very savvy in this. Not all, but many of them are. But that's all they want to do is own you. That's it. Now, the problem is when you win the argument, you didn't change their mind. You just made them mad. But yes, I want to actually do something. I'm very important about that. So John says, Larry, I agree. I love a chat. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That's great. I like that. I hope more people would jump on the chat. I always do. I love that people jump on the chat and go back and forth, even when it's not with me. So yes. Ryan says, I've seen another chat. It was depressing to read. So I left. I've not returned to that chat. I'm already prone to depression. See, yeah, you don't need it. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Quote Day says, one doesn't need to be Democrat to dislike Musk. True. And again, I think, as I mentioned, the people who were further left, not the average Democrat, they already didn't like him like before because of his money and what he's doing with it, the grift that he has with the government. So they didn't like him already, right? That's true. But the mainstream Democrat, the mainstream liberal, loved Elon Musk. Now they hate him because he's a traitor. But the far left already didn't like him. That's true. Absolutely, yes. Kim says, honest people like you really get elected. True. Yes. True. Yes, absolutely. Missy says, y'all are highly interactive and intelligent. Also true. They are. You're fun and honest. Our chat is the best. Accurate and accurate. Totally accurate. Yes. Christine, thank you for being a member, says they started hating him when he bought X and got rid of censorship. Yes, right? And there's a big piece. If you remember, I showed you that debate between Sagar and Crystal. And one of the things I kept showing you was the tactic she uses. And many liberals use this tactic. It's very common, which is just keep talking, don't let finish, cut you off, and get you to say you're a bad guy. Common thing, literally censorship. It's just censorship in person. Most people don't know how to deal with that. And they wind up just getting led around, right? Led around. And if you don't have a good moderator to stop it, it just becomes that, right? I recently saw a similar thing. Jesus, what was it on? Diary of a CEO. I couldn't finish watching it. It was the same idea. Basically, a liberal versus a more entrepreneurial, more libertarian guy going back and forth. And all liberal did was go, but is it good that? Is it good that? Is it good that? Would you believe this? And he wouldn't let the guy finish his sentence. Same thing. That's censorship in person. And that was what they wanted on everything. They wanted censorship on everything because they don't want you to actually have the conversation. They want you to just go, you're bad. Shut up. Clearly you're wrong. Shut up. Right? You're wrong. Stop. That's all they want. And you see it constantly. And I make a distinction between the left and liberals always. And a lot of people don't, but I do. I've seen many people who are on the left actually want to argue. Actually want, because, and the reason why is people think that when they shut down, when they were doing all when they were doing all the censoring, YouTube, Facebook, I got slaughtered, right? Mike got slaughtered here too. Kit Cabello got slaughtered. Kit Cabello, yeah, Kit Cabello's far left. The censorship wasn't only of the right, but it was of anyone who was anti-establishment, to include libertarians like myself, and to include the far left. So they got banned too. They got shut down also. That was almost never reported. That's why now you find many of them going, no, we're not going to support Democrats. No, they banned us. No, we want to have the conversation. No, we won't. Which is why you see the people come on my show. Rarely are they mainstream liberals. They're almost always far left or something else. Almost always. Zohran Mamdani, who is now running for mayor of New York City. He is a far leftist. Came on my show. Yes, because at least he wanted to talk. They do. So the far left does talk. They want to fix things. Lunatic, thank you for the $5. As a CB, my mission has always been an end game with a step-by-step mission statement. Libertarians, including Spike, other than you, have the plan. Libertarians other than you. Oh, I'm not sure where that was. Libertarians, including Spike, other than you. I'm not sure where you went with that, Libertarian. Let me look in your regular chat so you don't have to do super you can't see if I can find that for you. I'm not sure where you were going with that. I don't know. I like Spike. I think he's nice. I get along with him well. Wife is wonderful. Get along with him well. He's not really, though. Spike isn't really a party guy. Like, he's not really. I mean, he shows up. He's not really part of the party. Like, he's doing his own thing. He's kind of outside the party. He took his 50 minutes of fame, and I think he did a great thing with it. He took it, and now he's got a nonprofit that's making real impact. He's doing real work. He's making stuff happen. I like it. So Gray says there aren't many compassionate libertarians, at least the image or impression that they give. It's turn off. Agreed. And it also winds up becoming very anti-woman. It turns women off too. Yes, it's very true. We struggle to get women into the party, into the movement. We struggle to. Agreed. Yes. I try my best, as you see, which is why I always do this. No notes, just talk, AMA, show you who I am. I try to do this because I want to be more open. I want more people to show up. If you look at my page versus other pages, my channel versus other channels that are libertarian channels, I win the diversity award. That's all I'm saying. And I don't have quotas, and I win the diversity award. That's for sure. So yes. Nikki says, love to see you and Dave Smith talk about this. Dave's not really a party guy either, though. Like, I'm just being forward. He's not. Dave is doing his own thing, right? I mean, he's not really a party guy. He didn't run for office. He's never run for office. He's not going to run for office. That's not who he is. He's not like in the infrastructure. He's not in the party. I think he may be a member, but he's not backing candidates. He's not doing that. He's a comedian and a personality, right? He's not really in the party. So we could talk about it, I guess, but he's not going to have the same thought process I have at all. It's not what he does. If you saw him and I were on, him and Spike were on the Patrick Bet David podcast. If anyone want to see that, type that in PBD. And what happened was the same thing every time. Patrick Bet David asked the question. Spike would talk theory and soundbite. Dave would talk theory and soundbite. Then I would say, guys, stop. Let me tell you how to fix it. And I would give them an actual answer. That literally was what happened. If you watch it, you have a chance to watch it. Here's the stuff we're talking, blah, blah, blah. Stuff. I go, stop. Let me tell you the answer. Here is how you fix it. And then I go, boom, 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 boom. And then Patrick Bet David was like, mad. He said something that makes sense. So I'm going to go yell at Dave again. And then Dave would say his stuff he does. And then Spike would say cool libertarian stuff. And then I would go, here's how you fix it. So I don't know if him and I are on the same page in this regard. I'm not sure what he's even trying to achieve in that regard. So maybe. But then again, why would he talk? I mean, look, I like Dave. I know him. I like him. We get along. I've opened for him many times. I've emceed him many times. Happy to have him on board. Event he can come to will bring people and raise money. So Dave, if you're listening, I don't know if you ever listen to my show, but if you are, please come back to the Libertarian Party and do some bits so that we can raise some more money. So please do that. I think he's probably the most popular libertarian in the country. I can't think of one that's more popular. No, I can't. I think he's the most popular libertarian in the country. And maybe there's one, but I can't think of one that's more popular. If there is one, I can't think of it. But then why would he come on my show? Because he likes me, maybe? Maybe I'll ask him. Maybe do it as a personal favor, maybe. But why would he come on my show? He's platforming me far more than I'm platforming him. But maybe he would. You know what, Nikki? I'll ask him. Maybe he'll say yes. I don't think he will. But maybe. We'll see. I appreciate that. So, all righty. That Liberty Lady says, I hope you guys have been watching Larry's YouTube shorts and Facebook reels. A lot of the super chatters and Rumble ranters, comments, questions are ending up there. Well, there we go. See that? There we go. I like that. All righty. Let me grab some more of these. The Lunatic says, remember, Larry, keto's magic. It is. You're not wrong. Lunatic says, they don't have a step-by-step plan other than you. Correct. And thank you. That's Lunatic answered the question. I should just go on Lunatic. He answered the question. That's the difference. Like, Dave doesn't have a step-by-step plan to do something. That's not what he's doing. Like, he's doing other things. And so is Spike. I'm not mad at him. Each of us does different things, right? I know a lot of people were mad at Spike because he didn't run. They all wanted him to run. I get it. That's not what Spike does now. And we need what Spike does. Spike is making actual impact at the local level, making libertarians look good. That is a valuable thing. And Spike, if you haven't been listening, please don't stop. It's amazing. Please do that. That's awesome. It's not what I'm doing. Dave is out there getting into the big podcasts, getting the libertarian name out there so people know who we are and what we do. People got mad at him because he wasn't jumping on Chase Oliver. That's not what he does anyway. He didn't jump on Joe Jorgensen's train. He didn't jump on Gary Johnson's train. He didn't jump on any train. It's not what he does. He goes out and spreads the word. That's what he does. And we need that. So Dave, listen, please keep doing that. I'm not mad at him for it. We do different things. I punish myself by running for office in New York State. And I raise money for people in independent parties. That's what I do. And I consult in those political parties. That's what I do. That's fine. That's what I do. I'm not mad at it. All good. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. So yes, I have the step-by-step plan. That's true. I do. 100%. All righty. Let's see if I can go. Michael Gray says, you can find pickle pizza at Stumpy's in Fort Edward, New York. The pickles are very high quality. I may go try that then. Thank you. I like that. Grace says, we are too busy fighting each other to fight the duopoly. Grace on the money. Ryan says, Larry, you are right about nobody caring about the quarrel between the CLC and the MC. I told them and they didn't listen to me. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. It was stuff they made up. They were in their own bubble and they thought the world cared. Nobody cares. Absolutely. Yes. So, all right. Literally says, Ryan, now I'm triggered. Non-caucus affiliate. F the caucus wars. Yes. Yes. All right. Kim says, Missy Richmond, I'd love more lessons on libertarianism from him. I will do more of that then. I'm happy to do that. I don't often do that, but I will. What I try to do, Kim, just be forward, what I try to do is I try to show you what will be a libertarian answer by how I act, right? That's my goal. Phil says, Larry, what's the impact of horse archers on history and what's their modern equivalent? Well, horse archers versus horse elite. I'm going to go with horse archers, right? Horse archers are the reason why we had a Mongol empire. That's the reason why we had a Mongol empire. They were trying to create horse archers for a long time. And the best thing they could create at one point was the chariot. The chariot, most people think of was, oh, it's a cool thing to carry people. The chariot was a firing platform, right? It was a firing platform. So you can create bowmen who could fire and move. It was the first tank. The chariot was the first tank. You could actually drive and fire, but it's nowhere near as effective as a horse archer. A chariot is hard. It's hard to train people to ride. It's 2 or 3 people now because you've got to have a chariot driver. It's a tank. You got to have a chariot driver. Usually you have to have a spearman who is going to actually repel any assaults from the ground on the chariot, and you have to have a bowman, right? That's the missile weapon from the chariot. Now you could use a spear and charge on the chariot. It's very ineffective. So it basically becomes a firing platform. So that was good, and that's how the Egyptians were able to move forward. Babylonians had charioteers. The Romans, not really. The Romans were heavily infantry based, but the reason why the Romans were so good is they had the best infantry on the planet at the time. I mean, it would have outgunned any of the planet, on time. And where they were fighting, there were very few charioteers. So the Romans were the exception to that time period. Once you leave that, cavalry is powerful. It is, but cavalry is still basically a melee weapon, right? You're still charging into people. You're still charging into stuff, and you can be stopped by pikemen, which pikemen were, of course, the opposite of chariots, or the opposite of horses. Horse archers are the example that made the modern tank when no one else had tanks. And of course, the most obvious one of those is the Mongols. The Mongols had the best horse archers on the planet, hands down. Other people had horse archers too, but they were the best because they were natural riders. They also were able to fight in combat if they had to, but they didn't need to. And they didn't have to stop and fire, right? There's a thing called hobblers. So you gotta know what that is. Hobblers or horsemen versus cavalrymen. Horsemen or hobblers are people who take the horse and they move via horse, but then dismount and fight on foot. Cavalry are people who move with the horses, but fight on the horses. You may say, well, why don't they fight on horses? Because horses are skittish. Those of you who know horses, they're actually skittish. To train a horse to actually fight in combat takes years. But to have a horse carry somebody, it's relatively easy. So you get horses who can't fight in combat, they carry the infantry. The infantry gets off and fights on foot. Cavalry horses are different. Now, cavalry horses also may need to carry armor. They may also need to carry other things. It'd be heavy, physically bigger horses. The advantage of the horse archers of the Mongols is the Mongols, hamburger and steak tartare come from the Mongols. I'm not joking. They would take raw meat and put it under their saddles, and while they would ride, it would grind the meat, and they would eat the raw meat while they were traveling. So they could travel and eat at the same time. It's a true story. So, yeah. So horse archers made the Mongol Empire. The Mongol Empire is what actually allowed East versus West to meet. Without the Mongol Empire, East versus West doesn't meet, and it needs to meet. The Mongol Empire did that. The Silk Road is because of the Mongol Empire. The idea of Chinese weapons and ideas getting into Europe, Mongol Empire. Europe ideas getting to China, Mongol Empire. Right. It also something else which is odd. The Mongol Empire also helped to bring Islam to Central Asia, because as what the Mongol Empire did with the horse archers is it allowed people to come in and then absorb. There weren't many horse archers, to be forward with you, because the other advantage of the horse archers is since they can travel so fast, it seems like there's more of them. Again, there's no satellites at this time. There's just, I see a bunch of horse archers over here. The next day, I see them over here. Oh my God, there's 2 units of horse archers. No, it's just one. It's move fast. So I think it's 2. Now I'm outgunned. Now I surrender. One of the glories of the Mongol Empire is a lot of people surrendered. People don't know that. A lot of people surrendered. A lot of them surrendered because when the horse archers would surround you, and they would just get around you and slaughter units, just slaughter them. They would slaughter units. Well, then people said, I don't want to be slaughtered. If I surrender, we'll be okay. And the advantage, as you don't know, I'm going way long on this. I'm sorry, Phil. It's your fault. The idea of the Khans, which Genghis Khan was the great Khan. Genghis Khan, he set up an idea, which was he believed that his people were backward. And the quote, I think, is attributed to him. He said, I will bring civilization to my people if I have to kill half of them to do it. That was what he wanted. He said, I will bring civilization to my people. My people will be civilized. So him doing that, when he would attack a town or a city or a country, if they'd surrender, he would sack it a bit. But relative to others, if they surrendered, he would not. He would actually take a lot of their people, a lot of their knowledge, and bring it back to one of his cities, Samarkand or whatever city he'd go to, right? And he'd bring it back to these cities, and he would have the Mongols become educated. The Mongols become civilized. He absorbed. He did what Alexander the Great did in reverse. Alexander the Great Hellenized the Middle East. Well, he said, oh, no, that's good stuff. I'm going to have these people, I'm a cosmetologist. Is that a word? Whatever. Do that to my people. So the horse archers allowed East to meet West across Eurasia. They were the reason for the tank, because the tank had basically gone away after the chariot. They were the reason for the tank, right? That there's no tank without the horse archers. So did I answer your question, Phil? It went long, but anyway, this is AMA, so I won't take any of them. So we'll keep moving. Yes. Mike says no trigger. I didn't get triggered. I was good. Yes, I didn't get triggered. Absolutely. I was good on that one. I did not. All right. Kim says Elon could destroy and dismantle organizations, now then hop back on the other side to rebuild them back. I mean, without question, he could. He's the ultimate grifter. Yes. Ray says, oh, Larry, my mom saw Jackie Robinson play. You get me choked up all the time in a good way because you remind me of my parents so often with your references. I remember something from years ago, and it was something that Jimmy Carter said. And Jimmy Carter said, when they asked him this question, he said, they asked him, what are the most important things in being president? And while Jimmy Carter was not a great president, Jimmy Carter was absolutely a great man. He said two things, and you're going to be shocked when I tell you what they are. He said physical health. That's what he said, because he's a demanding job. Physical health and a sense of history. Never forgot that. I still remember that. Physical health and a sense of history. I care about both of those things. Very much so. I care about both of those things. Very much so. So, yes. All righty. Grace says, Larry, have you been following AOC's Break the Oligarchy tour or whatever it's called? Yes, as I told you all, AOC is supposed to be what she should have been doing, and she figured it out. Either someone told her what I said, or she knew, or people figured it out. You heard me say it here. I said, why is she not out there with Bernie? She's one of the most charismatic Democrats they have. Are there any other? I mean, the exception of maybe Shapiro's not charismatic. Waltz isn't charismatic. I don't know. Maybe Newsom, but Newsom's in hot water now, so he's doing other stuff. But maybe Newsom's charismatic. He is. And a guy to Maryland, Moore, he's kind of charismatic. Maybe him, but they don't have a lot of charismatic people. So she's one of the most charismatic they have. Why isn't she out there with him? And now she is. Brilliant move on her side. Grace, it's exactly what she should be doing. She should be doing it and then and now she's talking about it. You heard me say this. You can't, someone's watching this show or someone's telling them stuff. You heard me say it. You can't stop something with nothing. You got to have something. Now we're talking about it again. All of a sudden now it's Medicare for all again. Where were you last year? 2 years ago? You were nowhere. Now all of a sudden Medicare for all again. Why? Because Medicare for all, I know some of you are libertarian or Republicans, you don't like that. I get it, me either. But whether you like it or not, it's popular. Medicare for all is popular. It is. That's true. Look at the data. It's popular. Populism clearly works. Trump's president. So you have right-leaning populism or left-leaning populism. If you're on the left, go left-leaning populism. I'm just saying what you should do, right? That's what you should do. I've been saying that. Someone's listening. So good. Christine says the left is really testosterone deficient. True. It is true. You're not wrong. It's true. And generally speaking, not that important, except when you go to war. Then that's really important. Like, really important. Yes. When you go to war. Yeah. So, yeah. All righty. Let me keep going. Phil says, those wars are won through surveillance and logistics. I would say most wars are won that way. I mean, most are. The Ukrainians right now are getting really hammered badly because they've lost a lot of our surveillance. right? They have some from Europe, but they've lost a lot, and they're getting hammered badly. I don't know if any of you are following the war, but they haven't been winning the war, right? They had a shot. Was it 2022 when they were doing well? They had some positive, doing well. They probably should have taken a piece at that point, but since then they have not done well at all. Not done well at all. So, all right. Let me see if I can go down here again. All right. Lunatic says, Larry, have you ever heard of the mid-2006 to 2017 that initiated gangs that are leaked to the military? That was a long time ago. Yeah, that was even before that. That had been a thing they had been trying to do before. There were gangs in the Marine Corps when I was in the Marine Corps. There were gangs, and they would usually meet late at night in the barracks. I know because I went to some. So yes. So usually they'd meet late. I'm talking 80s. So that was happening before. I wanted to know what was going on. So I would show up, like literally being in the back of the barracks, 4 or 5 guys talking, and I would just show up and look at me and go, I sit down, we talk. So yeah, that was happening back then. So yeah. John says, Larry, I would love to see you talk to Dave Smith again. It'd be interesting to hear you talk about the LP strategy. I'm sure you get a boost in subs. Yeah, he's got a huge audience. So I don't know if he would do it. But yeah, I completely agree. Like, I would love to have a conversation with him. It's nothing but good for me. Nothing but good for me. The question is, why would he? Right? Why would he? And Smith, to be fair, I'm not, again, Dave Smith and me have different goals. He's not that concerned about the party. Like, that's not a big part of what he's concerned about. He's doing other things. It's not really what he's worried about. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't see it. I could be wrong. But look, I hope he says yes. I hope he wants to come on board. I do, yes. Ryan says, should Democrats and Republicans change their names to Isinphobes? No, only Republicans are Isinphobes. That's it. That's how that works. Yeah, that's all I want. Lunatic says, I'm the most abrasive. Yeah, that's true. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Lunatic. Yeah. Grace says, why do you think Pelosi is going so hard for Schumer? I mentioned this last week, guys. I mentioned this last week. Or was it earlier this week? I forgot when I mentioned it. They are floating a coup again. They've tried it before. Mike brought it up. He's like, they've been trying it for what? Mike's right. They've been trying it for a long time. This has been the one that's had the most traction of any of them. Clearly the most traction. And I've already given you my prediction. If it's still happening next week by next Friday, I've already said this. If it's still by next Friday, he's finished. The coup has succeeded. It might take some more time, but the coup has succeeded. If by next Friday they're not talking about it anymore, he withstood the push. He's withstood it. That's it. That's all it will take. Why does that matter? It's another weekend. And the weekend shows matter in politics, particularly in Washington, D.C. You and I may not care about the weekend shows. In D.C., the weekend shows matter tremendously. If he's getting hammered this weekend, and then you turn on MSNBC or CNN on Tuesday, Wednesday, and there's still someone going, Schumer screwed this up and he's bad, he's finished. He will somehow relinquish power in some way, shape, or form within the end, by the end of the month. Maybe in a week after that, maybe he'll relinquish power somehow, if that's happening. He's tough, though. I don't see that being an easy task at all. That is a very challenging task to get rid of someone like Schumer. He's very powerful, but it's been working so far. It's been the most successful of the past ones, that's for sure. So that's how we'll see it. Yes. All righty. Let's say here. Andrea says, you learn more from mistakes than from getting it right all the time. Yes. People all the time tell me this. They say, Larry, why listen to somebody who's not successful? Listen to someone who's successful. And I said, that's not true. You listen to someone who has failed and learned from it. That's what matters. Your point's exactly right, Andrea. So you look at someone, say, a lot of people look at people like Machiavelli. Machiavelli was a failed politician. He just learned from it, wrote a book, right? So did you learn from it? So, well, this guy's successful. Okay. Was he lucky and just was great his first time? Then there's nothing to tell you. I don't care how successful he is. Did he fail, get back up, and then be successful? Then she has something to tell you, right? The story I've told before, you may remember this one. It was an interview, Barbara Corcoran, who runs the Corcoran Group, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's New York based. I don't know if it's across the country. I guess it is, but I know it's New York, heavily New York. It's a real estate company. And she started it, Barbara Corcoran Group. And She was interviewed. I think it was Larry King. I think it was years ago. And he's like, you're this great, guru when it comes to real estate. She's like, no, I'm not. Well, you're this great business person. She's like, no, I'm not. She's like, what? She says one thing. She says, I'm really good at getting back up. That's what I'm good at, getting back up. When I get knocked down and get back up. You can learn from her. You can learn from her. But say some guy shows up, his mom or his dad was rich, right? And then all of a sudden, he, does something, gets lucky, makes a whole bunch of money. That guy's not going to tell you. His answer's going to be, I worked hard. That's going to be his answer. That doesn't mean anything. That's not helpful. So, yeah, whether they're successful now or not, hopefully they are successful. But the question is, did they fall down and then get back up? Then yes. Yes, that's the key. So, all righty. Let me go down here some more. Grace says, I want to buy a Tesla and I'm going to purchase a car. That's good. Ganjin says, what would it take for society to return back to normal? It seems we haven't recovered from the effects of COVID. Correct. Accurate point. Accurate point. When historians look back at the lockdowns, they will be surprised on how stupid we were. They will be surprised on what sheep we were. They will be surprised. This was a horrible thing, which is why I was against the mandates and the lockdowns and how we censored speech that would have stopped us from going through it. The damage done from the lockdowns, we still haven't seen the rest of it. It destroyed millions of Americans. It helped crush businesses. It helped crush relationships. It helped the massive transfer of wealth that happened. It made the wealth gap worse. Nothing but bad. It was an embarrassing, stupid thing to do. And obvious. People were saying how bad it was off the bat. Obvious. Obvious. There's no way that should have happened at all. If you say normal, meaning prior to that, your answer is never. It will never go back. It cannot. We were permanently scarred from that. Permanently scarred. I'm not, there's no hyperbole there. We were permanently scarred. There are people who will never go back into business again. People who will never have a girlfriend, boyfriend again. People who their education is shot and they'll never have a chance at it again. There are people who went into hiding basically and did not learn how to, and still haven't learned how to communicate well, how to have relationships. That's never going to happen. That's done. It's finished. It's over. That's done. So the question isn't whether we'll go back to that. The question is, when will we as a society kind of have our own new norm, right? And generally speaking, as a generation is about 23 years. So the lockdowns happen in 2020, 2040. We should have our new norm by 2040. That would be my guess. But we're never going back. That was devastating. That was the entire world. The stupidity because of a virus. The insane stupidity. But people died, millions died. You wrecked a generation because people who are old and sick might die, which sucks. I had 2 people in my life. I did not want them to die. Luckily, neither of them died of COVID. I get that. But I will never, I don't care if you get mad at me. I don't care what you think. You can be mad at me all day long. If I have a choice between punishing myself or my children, I take the punishment. Every day of the week, every time, I don't care. Every day of the week, every time, I don't care. And if you're like, but old people are more important, then you have a mental disorder because that's clearly and obviously not true. Sorry. And I'm old. Sorry. Incorrect. Our youth matter. They matter. And we should care about them. And we did not. And we wrecked them. So anyway, I hope I answered your question at least. So let's keep going if I can. All righty. Grab some more of these if I can. Missy says, I have a far left liberal asking about libertarianism in a peaceful and a very respectful manner. What's most important to tell her? The most important thing that you could try to get across for someone who doesn't really get it is this. Actual libertarianism, is it doesn't matter how left or right you are. The question is, do you want to use force to make others like you? That's the core. And most people don't get that. They don't get that. So if you're someone who says, man, I'm super liberal and I want the whole world to be more liberal, being liberal is awesome. We should all be liberal. Awesome. Do you think it is the government's job to force people to be more liberal? And if you go, yes, great, you're a Democrat. If you go, no, not at all, no, not government's job. It's my job through my works, through my example, through my community to convince people to be super liberal. Oh, you're libertarian. That's it. I'm super conservative. The whole world should be conservative. More people should be conservative. Conservatism is the right answer. Great. Do you think it's government's job to make people more conservative? Yes, you're a Republican. But no, I don't. I think it's my job to convince them through my works, through my experience, through my example, through my community to make people choose to be more conservative. Oh, libertarian. That's the real difference. That's why you see I don't get mad at people who want this or want that. These guys want communism. Are you going to force it or you like the Amish? Well, like the Amish, we're good. We're good. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think it works, but as long as you're not forcing me, I don't mind. People with the woke schools. I can't stand woke schools. I don't care about woke schools. Are you forcing me to go to a woke school? Are you forcing me to? Well, no, we want to have a voluntarily woke school. Be the wokest. I don't care. Just don't force people. That's the answer. Just don't force people. That's the most important piece. Ryan, thank you for the $5, says, one positive of the lockdowns, it led me to your show, Larry, and libertarianism as a whole. Oh, I also discovered a lot about the podcast as well. See, there was something good about it. There's something good, I guess. There we go. So some things were good. So I hope that that makes sense. Oh, Gene, you saw that podcast, that PBD one? Yes. Yeah. Lunatics 2, good podcast. Yep. There we go. And Missy coming in hot. There's the link to the podcast episode if you want to see that one. That was a good one. Yes, I enjoyed that one. I did enjoy that one. That was good. So, all right, let me see if I can go here. Phil says, Robbie the Fire. Yes, I like him too. I've been on his show a couple times. Has been more invested in the party. Glad you and Robbie were in my basement that one. That's right. We came up there. That's right. We did. That's right. He did a show there. We actually went to Phil's basement and did a show there. That's actually true. Yes. I actually forgotten that until you said that. That's right. Yes, I like that one. All righty. Kim says, all we need to do is put everyone on a keto diet, and in about 1 year, it'll all be fixed. Correct. Because keto is magic. Accurate statement. Yes. Don't forget that. Keto is magic. Yes. Missy says, Spike's movement, you are the power, is amazing. Correct. It's making impact. Yes. It's making impact. Yes. Shai says, welcome to my world, Mike. I lose Larry all the time. The problem is I'm still shadow banned. I know. How do I know that? I've been doing this for 6 years, and I still haven't got my numbers up from 2019. 2019, I mean, I've been shadow banned for 6 years, right? But around not 5 actually now. But 2020, I started getting shadow banned. I've never got my numbers back up to that, ever. Doesn't matter what I do. Why do you think every 10 minutes I'm saying, click the like button, click the like button? Why am I doing that? I'm doing that because it's the only way. It's the only way that I can get this thing going. Otherwise, I got to, I don't know, quit and just sit and Rumble all day and hope that Rumble turns around and hope they don't screw me over at one point. Let's quit this thing and stop doing it. That's why I keep asking you. Yes, that's why I keep bugging you to do it. It's not because I'm bored. It's because it's the only way I can grow. That's why. So Rick says, I'm still mad at Dave Smith for clearing the decks so he can run, then declining to run. To make matters worse, pretty much helped sabotage the Chase Oliver campaign. You know, a lot of people say that. You're not alone in that one, Rick. I've heard it more than once. I'm not as upset. And the reason why I say I'm not as upset is because, again, I'm on record. I told everybody on the podcast when they talk about it, he's not going to run. They're like, no, he's not going to run. Like, why? Dave, this is public knowledge. He had a sick kid. I've had a sick kid. In fact, his kid and my kid had a very similar thing. Same hospital, believe it or not. I know what that's like. I have been where he was. He's not there anymore. Very nice. All good now. But I have been where he has been. I know how that is. And I said, he's not running. And if any of you have had a sick kid, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you have a sick kid, that becomes your number one priority. That's how it works. And if any of you out there have had a sick kid, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And his kid was very sick, and my kid was very sick. And when that happens, you're running for office. That's not a thing. I'm on record. I was on podcast. He's not going to run, guys. Stop it. He's not going to. Yes, he is. So the reason I'm not so upset is I knew he wasn't going to run. Like, I knew it. It's not what you do. It's not how it works. So that's why I'm not as upset. But you're not the only person who said that. I've heard that more than once. So yeah. Gene says, Spike Cohen's "You Are the Power" is making positive difference. It is. 100%. Yes. I think it really is. Yes. Let's see here. Lunatic says, cavalry is only numbers. That's not true. That's not true. The Japanese effed up the Mongols. Their archers were better. Incorrect. I don't mean to be cruel on you, but incorrect. The reason why that's not true, to be forward, the Japanese did not F up the Mongols at all. The Japanese were lucky. For those you know, it was, Jesus, 1271. Oh, someone help me out. Mongols invade Japan. I think it's 1271 if my numbers are right. They did it twice. They tried to invade twice. Both times they went to invade. It didn't work twice because of storms, Lunatic. That is where the phrase kamikaze comes from. We say kamikaze, but it's kamikaze. Kami means God or divine, and kaze is wind. So it's kamikaze, divine wind. Divine wind came by and trashed the Mongol fleets. That's why the Japanese won those battles. Otherwise, the Japanese would have been conquered, not by Genghis, but it was Kublai Khan, his grandson, who actually invaded Japan. I think 1271 and 1273, if I remember right. If someone would check that for me, I'm pretty sure that's correct. 1271, 1273, they invade Mongols. The Mongols invade Japan. In both cases, storms came and wrecked the Mongol fleet. That's why they lost. The reason why the Japanese archers weren't better is not because individually they weren't better. Individually they were. But the archers, Japanese archers, were all samurai. Samurai were only 7% of the population. And accordingly, very little percentage of the army. So they have massive army with mostly spearmen. The Japanese at that point mostly had spearmen. That was the most common weapon, was spearmen, or pikemen or spearmen was most. Their leadership, samurai, had swords. If you weren't a samurai in Japan, it was against the law to have a sword. Only the samurai class could have a sword. So there were no swordsmen in Japan. That wasn't a thing except for the samurai class. So only that they really had horses. So there weren't massive horses and massive cavalry charges in Japan. It's a mountainous country, heavily infantry-based. They didn't have that. So horse archers were the individual samurai. I mean, they're outgunned 20 to 1, 100 to 1 when it comes to Mongol. The average Mongol soldier was far better as a horse archer than the average Japanese soldier who was a conscript spearman. So not accurate, my friend. Not accurate. Now, the armor was better. Correct. Japanese armor was better. That's accurate. Armor was better. Correct. But the Mongols didn't have heavy armor. Why? They're light horsemen. So, and if you look at the Mongol horses, they're not large. They're not like the Clydesdales of the Brits. You go look at like Britain, France. These horses are monster horses. Why? Because the horses also would have armor called barding. They would also have armor also, and they'd carry a knight who also had heavy armor on. So you got monster horses, right? Of course, they're huge. They can't carry the knight without it. So they're monsters. They're huge. They're huge in that regard. The problem is the Mongols, they were basically like ponies. I mean, relatively. They were much smaller horses, and so they couldn't carry all that stuff. So they were very lightly armored. But no, the archers were not better. Just saying. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Ride the meat. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah. John says the Sharpe allowed horse archers and the Mongols were the best at it. Correct. Yes, the best cavalry for a long time were the Polish winged hussars. Correct. So the siege of 1683. Yes, but again, we're talking prior to the horse archers. That already happened, right? And they had taken that from the Mongols. Remember, the Mongols came into the idea of Poland. The Mongols came as far as Austria. So they came into Europe, right? They came in there. That's why. So I hope that makes sense. Lunatic says, I can talk ancient war tactics for hours. Like, so can I, my friend. You can see. Yes. Phil says, everyone loves a history lesson. Every battle Khan had, they were outnumbered yet won. Accurate statement. There weren't that many of them. People don't realize that. They aren't that many of them. People think, oh, they were massive hordes, right? Massive hordes. Well, they called themselves hordes, right? Khans and Khanates and hordes. But there really weren't that many of them relatively. You're correct, Mike. They were very good at what they were doing. So, yes. Ganjin says, speaking of cause and effect, there'd be no Russian Empire without Mongolian Empire. I'm not sure that's true. The Russian Empire is a Viking empire, starting in Kiev. The Rus, which is where Russia comes from, the Rus are a Viking group that came down from Scandinavia, non-Finnish. I think they were Swedes, maybe Norwegians. I'm not sure. They came down from that area with their boats and went to Kiev, and they began the Kievan Empire, which was from the Rus, and eventually they became Russia. Ia, if you see Ia everywhere, it means land of. Russia, land of the Rus. Or as they call, Russia, land of the Rus, right? Italia, land of the Itals, makes sense, right? Where I live in Astoria, land of the Astors. The Astors are people who are wealthy people who built this area up. So they called them after them, land of the Astors. Astoria, any Ia you will see. That's why now they're calling Turkey, Turkia, right? Because it's also E. E or Ia, depending where, like Germany, land of the Germans, Turkey, land of the Turks. That's where that comes from. It's all land of. So you'll see it everywhere, right? Armenia, land of the Armenes. So you'll see that everywhere. So I'm not sure. The Rus would have come no matter what, whether they're Mongols or not. So I think they might have done it. So Phil says, Ganjin, you're absolutely right. Muscovia took over from the Kievs, some power, yeah, because they were task letters for the Mongols. So you think that's why you make a Russia? That's a stretch, guys. I think there would have been a power grab either way, whether you have it or not. Maybe. That's a good talk. That's good. That's good talk. Yeah. Phil says, was Larry a blood cripple Latin king? I wasn't a Latin king. I was not a Latin king. No, I'm not. Yes. All righty. We are into history tonight. I don't mind. It's all good for me. I don't mind. Yes. Let's see here. Legacy says, Larry, humans that take a deep dive into Thomas Aquinas, take a long, hard look at themselves. Agreed. I think when you look at yourself, you can make some changes. Otherwise, you have a problem. I agree. You have to look at yourself. And what you find with many people who are hardcore activists, it's a common thing. The hardcore activist is often a disaster personally. It's a common thing you find. Because the hardcore activist, depending upon the person, if you find a hardcore activist who actually can balance their life, this does not apply to that person. There are many that can't. Why do I say that? It is much easier, Legacy Zach, to look at someone else and try to fix all their problems than to look inside and try to fix mine. Not just that. It's a whole lot easier to say, I can't fix my own problems, Zach, because I'm saving the world. See? So I can't look at myself. I'm not selfish like that, Zach. I'm a martyr. I'm the coolest of them all. I'm the most virtuous of the virtue signalers. So I'm going to go save the world and care about whatever. I don't know, BLM or Russia or Ukraine or Israel or Gaza or whatever is the thing I care about. That's far more important than me. See? I'm way more important. I think you're right. And most people who have a problem like that, yeah. Yes. Gray says, you, it seems, paid a heavy price for speaking out against lockdowns. I was devastated by it. And when I say devastated, I mean devastated. The lockdowns trashed my campaign, trashed my business, trashed my show, trashed everything. That's why when people say, Larry, do you have grace for them, the people who made mistakes? And I say the same thing always. Do they want grace because they've recognized that they should have never done it, that they had no right to do it, and they would wrong one, never do it again? Then I would say yes. But if they go, well, what I always hear is, well, we didn't know enough. We made mistakes. We didn't know enough. We knew the wrong thing. No grace. I don't give a shit what you know. You have no right to do so. I don't care. You have no right to wreck people's lives because you're afraid. No right. If you're afraid, stay in your goddamn house. I get it. I asked, as I said, I had 2 people who were over 80 and both had pre-existing conditions, comorbidities. I was worried for them because that's the sweet spot for that virus. That's the sweet spot. Over 65, multiple comorbidities. For that group of people, it's the plague, right? For that group. I was worried, of course. So everybody locked down. No. So I asked them, please be careful, stay at home. And literally, I had a car. They didn't. I would drive stuff to them, and they were scared. They were scared too. They're like, Larry, can you make sure you wear a mask? I wore a mask for them. I put the gloves on for them. Everything. Make you happy. You're worried. I'm not mad. I didn't care if you were scared and you wanted to wear a mask or you wanted to wear gloves or you wanted to spray your mail or whatever. But why are you forcing people? Right? Why are you forcing people? I did it because they were scared. It made them feel good. So I did it. Yes. Makes you feel good. I'll come give you stuff. I'll put the mask on, the gloves. I had mask and gloves. I happily did it. Made them happy. I do it. There we go. But no one forced me to. It made them feel good. And I love them. They're my family. I'll do it. 100%. I'll do it. Now, my host, I didn't care. Because I got that bug before it was cool. Like I had it like in December of when before like 2019. I got it early. I was in the city every day. I was working. I was in the subway every day. Of course I got it, right? My family, they all got it. Everybody got it. And we were fine. Whatever. It was nothing for us. We were all healthy and young. Who cares? But those people in my life were not. They were not healthy and young. They were not young or healthy. So I was worried. Anyway, so yes, I did pay a high price. But again, I was never against people doing what they thought was best. You should do what you think is best. The issue is force. That's all I'm saying. So yes. Christine says, churches and schools were closed during lockdowns, but casinos and strip clubs were open. Yep. BLM riots were encouraged and financed. Yes. Absolutely correct. Yes. Christine says, I too found live during lockdown. Oh, there was something nice. There we go. Look, everyone found me during lockdown and my numbers went down. Think about that. All these people found me during lockdowns and my numbers went down. And they went down, I'm not joking. Missy was here. They went down 90%. I'm not joking. 90%. I used to get 4,000 or 5,000 views. One platform, like just Facebook, just YouTube. 4,000 or 5,000 views. Yeah. All of a sudden now, 500. That's 90%. Gone. Gone. Yes. It's crazy. That's how it works. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? We got to keep going. Mike has bad knees says, so we have an issue that boomers have lived too long and stayed in power for too long in comparison to previous generations. They'll live too long, no. In power too long, yes. Boomers can live as long as they want, live to 100, all good. You don't need to be in power, time to walk away. Yes. Just time, yes. Time to walk away. Andrea, keto was magic. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Phil says, kamikaze, divine wins. Yes. Or divine wind. Correct. Or it could be, depends how you use it. Correct. So yeah, that's how that works. Matt says, oh, I was off. I'm sorry. I thought 1270 or 1281. Okay. 1274, 1281. Thank you. Yes. I was close. I was close. I wasn't exactly on. I appreciate that, Matt. I was close. Yes. Yeah. Liberty Lady says, I remember Larry say Smith and Spike were not running in 2024. Yes, I knew that. I said that. I got receipts. I said they were not running. Absolutely. So Larry's normally right 99.9% of the time. Accurate number. That's correct. Accurate number. John says, yep, storms sunk most of the Mongol fleet. Yep. The Mongol invasions of 1274 and 1281 led to Kublai Khan. Yep, that was the grandson. Were ultimately unsuccessful due to fierce Japanese resistance and crucially devastating typhoons, known as kamikaze or divine winds, destroyed the Mongol fleets. Yep, both times. So, yeah. And that is why when they were running out of pilots at the end of World War II, they said that these planes, just loaded with bombs, would be the kamikaze and again would repel the American fleets as they had repelled the Mongolian fleets. So, yes. Legacy Zach says, Larry speaking my language of feudal Japanese history. This is awesome. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes. Well, they know that there were more civil wars after the Mongols. And the problem is the Japanese were so insular that the battles they would have were only civil wars. They they hadn't invaded Korea for a long time. They've invaded Korea many times, but at that point, they hadn't invaded Korea for a long time. So what would happen is when they would attack and fight, whoever would win, there'd be spoils, right? So I won, so I get something, right? I either get gold or I get rice. Rice was they used dried rice as a form of currency back then. So I get bales of rice or bags of rice, or I get weapons, or I get land. I get something, right? I did the job, I get something, right? That kind of thing. If we're going to invade Korea again, which they did often, I'd get lands in Korea or gold they'd steal from the Koreans or something. They would get something for their battles. Well, this time the Mongols come. The Mongols come and the Japanese fight as fiercely as always. Well, there's no spoils. What's the spoils? You have to keep your land? Wait a minute. I lost 400 of my best soldiers. Maybe I lost one of my sons, right? I lost tons of horses and time, and I spent all the money to put my army together, send them to this other guy's land to fight off these Mongols. Where's my cut? I'm not joking. That was a problem. Where's my cut? I get my cut, right? Ain't no cut to give. What do you mean? We didn't capture any land. We didn't take their gold. Ain't no cut to give. And they're like, oh no. Somebody got to pay. And there was problems in Japan after that because that was their norm. So yes. Phil says spears were the most common weapon in history. Correct. Most people were basically with them, but spear martial arts is very interesting. I agree. It is interesting. So yeah. But most of them were spearmen. Ingrid says, how do you remember all these details? I don't know how I remember them, Ingrid. I have a good sense of history. So I remember all those things. So don't know. Yes. Grace says, Mongols could shoot and ride better than anyone. Correct. Yes. Matt says the invading army in Japan was estimated around 15K. Think about how many soldiers that is. 15,000 soldiers in the 1200s. And the Mongols were able to mass that together, arm them, train them, get them on boats, and send them to Japan. You were talking, Phil, about logistics. There we go. There we go. Yes. Phil says, after the Battle of Tours, the Franks discovered stirrups from the Muslims and developed the knight using the stirrup. Yeah, the stirrup was a much better. Made things much better, of course. Yes. Dave said the Rus started modern day Ukraine. Yep. Accurate. Yes. So, all right. The Rus were giant, 6 to 7 feet average tall barbarians from the north. Yes, they were between 6 and 7 foot tall. Yes, they were very tall. To this day, a lot of them are taller. And one of the reasons why is they ate so much protein. That was one of the reasons why. They ate tons of protein. A lot of fish, lots and lots of fish, animals. They were all on keto because keto's magic. Thank you. There we go. Keto's magic. There we go. Grace says it was Genghis Khan keto. Betty was. It's magic. Andrea says, clean your house first. Yes. Ganji says, most activists are train wrecked mentally and financially. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yep. 100%. All righty. Little Lady says, if Rumble offered Larry a show over on that platform, would you take an offer like that and do you think you could get everyone to convert over if necessary? A lot of big names heading there. I'm considering it, but I don't know. YouTube is just so popular, right? It just is. Yeah. Shin says, we need to take care of ourselves, certainly, but should also take care of others. People working together can do what individuals cannot. Yes, but here's an issue, Shin. The problem is many of these activists, they don't even work well with others. That's another problem. They want to do it all themselves. They want to stay busy because they don't want to look inwardly. The best activists, I don't know if you know any, Shin, or not. I don't know your background, but if you know any, the best activists, they organize well. They don't do well, if that makes any sense, right? The average person can do whatever they can do, right? Which is great. I have an hour a week, I have 2 hours a week, I have whatever time I have available. The best activists are able to organize all those people and go, Shin, you can give me 2 hours? Okay, great. Grace, how many can you give me? Phil, how many can you give me? Okay. Then Shin, you do this. Grace, you do that. Phil, you do that. Those are the best activists. Those who can organize the ragtag group of people who all have their own lives to live and can only give X amount of time per week. So yes, I agree. But when you look at those activists, they're doing everything themselves. Everything. I don't know how much you pay attention in that world, but that's true. Yes. Christine says, my elderly neighbor got the Fauci ouchie and probably had a heart attack. Yeah. But you know what? What I would say is I could understand how someone could be afraid if you're elderly and ill. Because if you're elderly and ill, I can understand the fear. What I saw this, and I'll never forget this. It's a young woman, probably in her early 20s, I'm guessing mid 20s, outside in Astoria, Queens, running during the lockdowns with a mask on. She's outside, number one, by herself. Number two, no one around. So outside by herself in her 20s, running. So she is clearly in shape. So physically in shape, young in her 20s, by herself, outside, mask on. The odds of her passing away from that bug, 0. 0. 0. Mask on. Why the mask on? Yeah. Virtue signaling. See, I'm better than you, Christine. I got a mask on. See that? You thought you were good. No, I'm better than you. I got a mask on. Where's your mask? Oh, you got one on? Psh, I got 2. How about that? Oh, you got 2? I got 3. Better than you. I got 3. See? That's it. Now I'm better than you, Christine, because I'm wearing 3 masks, only wearing 2. Clearly, you're not as cool as I am. Just saying, I'm the most virtuous. That's how that works. So yes. Grace says, I found your show this summer before the lockdowns, and yes, I saw your numbers go down by 9%. Yeah, you saw it too. I'm not making this up. Just boom, shut down. Just shut down. Crazy. Yes. Shelly says, Spike is leading all over the country. I'm probably getting more done than the entire White House. Yes. Probably. Yes. IC says, Ingrid, Larry remembers all the details because he's keto. Correct, Ingrid. That's how. Because keto's magic. That's the reason. Yes, absolutely. Shin says, Larry, would you agree that dismantling that ed department immediately is unwise as it doesn't give people adequate time to adjust? I do agree. I think you're right. I don't like the way that it's being done. And I keep saying this, and this is the same thing that you find most Democrats are screaming about. And they shouldn't be. It's obvious. Do I want the DOE to be dismantled this way? No, I don't want people thrown out like that. I don't want that. The reality of it is that was the only way. And that's what sucks, right? And here's the issue that you see so many Democrats right now saying. The left isn't really saying it. It's Democrats saying, oh, this is the wrong way. It's a better way of doing it. Okay, over the past 16 years, 12 of those years was run by Democrats. And chunks of those, I think 2 or 4 of those years, Democrats controlled every part of the government. Supreme Court, Congress, and the presidency. At least 4 of those 16 years. And 12 of the Democrats controlled. What did they do to do that? What was their plan? What was their answer to our terrible education? Nothing. No plan to change anything. The only plan is more money. That was the only plan. And then if I'm wrong, can you please show me a plan? I looked. Since 2016, I've been looking. I have not seen a Democratic plan to fix anything. And I'll go to the Republicans also, Republican establishment. No plan either. The Republican establishment has no plan to fix it, just more money. That's it. No plan. Nothing. Because of that, this is the plan. This is what you get. You can't say, well, you can't do it this way. Well, it's your way. No way, I'm not doing it. Well, then this is what you get. I'm not trying to be mean. I think you're right. I don't like it that way. I wish it was done. And I say all the time, I want it to be literally you just saw what Lunatic says. He says, Larry, you always have a step-by-step plan. I do. And if I was to dismantle it, I would have a step-by-step plan. I agree with you. It's not the best way of doing it. There's no answer. This is what you get. And Democrats can't be mad now. You could have fixed it under Obama, or you could have fixed it under Biden. And Trump could have fixed it when he had to swamp with him, but he didn't. This is what you get. And I don't mean to be mean. Same with Doge. Is this the right way of doing it? Is the best way of doing it? No, of course not. What else am I going to get? So I get nothing if we don't do this, right, Shin? If we stop it, no, we're not going to do it. Here's what I guarantee you: it will never be done. And as I said, you disagree with me, and I get it, but I'm not alone in my thought process. The DOE is harming kids. It's not neutral. It's harming them, and I explained why the other night, and I stand by that. It is actively, clearly harming. So I have two choices. The right way, which is what I would have done. I agree with you. This is not the right way. But the other options, no way, I'll take this. And most Americans, this is my point. This is my point, Shin, that I brought up before about most Americans. Trump, the advantage of having Elon here, which people are like, Trump's going to be mad at Elon. He's going to be mad at Elon. No, he's not. Everyone's yelling at Spaceman bad now. Something goes wrong, they blame Elon now. He's taking less heat. He's happy to have Elon there. He's happy to. People mad at Elon now. Good, be mad at Elon. I'm going to go try to end these two wars, which he's having trouble doing, which of course it was going to be hard. He's going to do that. Good, yell at Elon. Go ahead. He doesn't care. He's happy Elon's there. So you go yell at Elon. But what's the other option besides Doge? Nothing. As I'm a broken record. You can't fix something with nothing. You can't beat something with nothing. There has been no plan. If you would show me a plan, I'll listen. I am open to listening. I am. If you know me at all, I'm open to listening. There was no plan. There is no plan. And it's actively harming. Get rid of it this way. I accept. Most Americans are so mad that the system's not working for them. They're just being quiet. And I think you know this, Jen, if you're active in politics. There's a whole lot of Americans who don't like Trump, who still vote for him. They don't like him, and they still voted for him. They don't like him. Okay, I'll take it. Because the other option is nothing. When Harris was asked, what would you do differently from Biden? She said, I can't think of anything. And when pushed later, she jumped on top of that. Yep, can't think of anything. She literally said, I have no plan to change anything. Love and freedom or something. And you're wondering why we have this. Trump is a symptom. That's a fact. He's a symptom. And most Americans today are like, I'll take it. I'll take it. That's what it is. So let me grab a couple off of, if I can, off Rumble. Joel says, I try to watch everything Larry puts out to help boost him. Oh, thank you. Yes. Sheridan says, Trump should lay off DOE employees. How smart and creative they are and how they will survive. Oh, should tell laid off employees. Okay, yeah. He should tell them. Trump should tell laid off employees, hey, you're smart and creative. You'll be fine. Yeah. He says, I'm insane. That's funny. That's good. Yes, that is good. It's funny. So, all righty. Let me keep going if I could. I'm trying to grab as many of these as I can, guys. So, and I hope that at least answers your question, even if you don't like it. I hope I at least answer it. So, yes. Mike says, Obama was a great organizer, horrible leader. Speeches aren't leadership, but vital for organizing. Correct. You're not wrong. Correct. Yes. Matt says, the one that killed me were the solo drivers wearing a mask. I know. You're in a car by yourself, driving, wearing a mask. Well, they're showing you, Matt. They're more virtuous than you. Yes. They're more virtuous than you. Yes. Absolutely. All right. Shannon says, did you see the people swimming with the mask on? The people playing instruments with the mouth holes. This is the part, right? You accepted playing instruments with mouth holes. What's wrong with you? I'd have never said that stuff. Never. So Shin says to Mike, effective communication and persuasion are certainly part of a strong leadership. It's true. Good point. Communication is important. It is. I agree. Joel says being an effective speaker is a superpower. True. It's true. It's important. But I think he was a better organizer. I think he was a better organizer. But yes, All righty. Let's see if I can go grab down here if I could. Christine said there should have been a sifting of the DOE to determine the best people to retain for an education wing of some other run well department. That also could have worked. Yes. Cheyenne says the plan, keep grifting. Accurate. Yes. Thank you, Cheyenne. You get it. That was the plan. Anderson's on. Yep, Anderson's right there. Exactly, Cheyenne. That's the problem, right? The problem is the goal was don't change anything, keep grifting. Yes. Ryan goes, oh yeah, something else. More money and Orange Man bad. Correct. Let's never forget that. Of course, now it's Spaceman bad, but still good. Yes. 100%. I think it's funny. The idea that there's no answer and then people are angry. Why won't you change? Why won't you accept this? Because the alternative is nothing, right? The alternative is nothing. And when you're unhappy, you take it. Of course you do. That part's crazy. Of course you do. Yes. Joel says, if we had President Harris, we'd be deeper into the war with Russia. Yeah, I think you're right. I think we probably would be. I mean, I think we probably would be. I can't imagine how, I'm trying to think in my head, how could Harris have made this better? I can't see it. I can't see it. I mean, in theory, no, I can't see it. No, I think you're right. We'd just be throwing more money at it. Just more money. Yeah. More sanctions, more money. I can't see it being better at all. I can't see it anyway being better. Yeah. I'm not sure. I think a good point. Guys, I'm asking you again, please click the button known as like. I ask you all the time. It matters. If you haven't shared this or reposted it, please do so now. Right? Please do so. Also, if you have not already subscribed, please subscribe. If you haven't followed me, please follow me on X, Rumble, and Facebook. Some of you have been with me when you watched everything crash. It did crash 90% in 2020. It was devastating. I'm still trying to grow. I'm trying to do this more. For those who've been watching me, I've been doing more shows now than I've done in a long time. I'm trying to do more shows and do more AMAs and keep doing this and keep this going. Help me out. Please do so by clicking the button known as like. If you haven't done it already, I don't know why you're being mean to me. Please do so. It does matter. My VA lady says, Larry, the Sharpe Way Facebook page is 2 away from 8,000 followers. So if you're on Facebook, go over to Sharpe Way. Please follow me there so I can hit that number. That would be great. I appreciate that if you would. And of course, when you subscribe, please make sure you select all notifications so you get all the notifications so you know that I'm on. It does matter. For those of you who can, please become a member on YouTube. Click that join button, $49 per month. If you can do it on Rumble, great. Click the join button, $49 per month. Both of them are good. Helps out tremendously. If you can, please do that. Mike goes on and say, Harris was fine with forever wars. Like she said, why change anything under Biden? Yeah, I don't know how she does it, Mike. I'm trying, in my mind, I'm trying to, you know me, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt. How could she have done it? What could happen? As I run it through my brain, I can't think of how she would have done it. It doesn't, I don't find it. I don't find a way for her to go there. I think we'd be more in debt, obviously. She would throw more money at it, for sure. I wouldn't doubt if there'd be American advisors on the ground by now. I wouldn't doubt that. If she wouldn't put Americans, yeah, I don't think so. So, Straight End says, Trump hasn't got it done yet. I know. I said he wouldn't. This is what most people didn't get. I shouldn't say didn't get. This war is a massive grift. And you got to remember something. The military-industrial complex has been grifting and feeding off the Afghan war for 20 years. Biden pulled out. Well, what are we going to grift off now? Ukraine. That's the grift. That is the grift. You can't do that and not have a 3-letter accident. If you know what I'm saying. An accident that happens. You wind up in a box, right? You can't just do that. So the grift has to be somehow, to Straight End's point, he says, has to be satisfied. It does. And that's the reason If you remember me when I talked about my way of quelling the military-industrial complex, my idea, I've talked about in the past, was creating certain types of monopolies for certain times, not libertarian at all, but the only way you don't end up in a box, because you have to satisfy it, because it is a multi-billion-dollar industry over time, trillions of dollars over time. So that's worth you having an accident over. That's how that works. That's worth it. They would absolutely do it. So to make sure you stay above ground, you have to give them a way out. My way out was give them some time monopolies in certain markets so they can just keep making money for a while, learn how to fix things, that kind of thing, right? Something like that. That was my idea. Trump's idea was mineral rights. Fine idea. I'm okay with it. Whatever. If that's what gets them, they make money to make the growth of the mineral rights. Okay, fine. So I remember, as I said before, right? The most important piece here is the military-industrial complex is not evil. It's apathetic. It doesn't care if people die or they don't die. It doesn't matter. Can I make my money? Oh, people aren't going to die because we're just going to, stockpile. Okay, great. People are going to die. We're going to bomb them. Okay, great. Just keep buying my stuff. I don't really care. So give them something else. So now he has to make this thing happen. But here's the other issue. Russia also has to get a cut. So he's going to make a deal where Russia gets a cut and America gets a cut. When he makes that happen, that's when he'll make peace. Now, here's the hard part. What's Europe going to do? Europe may not get a cut. That's the problem. They need to get a cut. Or what are they going to do? They might literally, it's still a chance they might actually put troops in Ukraine. That could still happen. That's still possible. And Trump is trying to avoid that. So everyone's trying to get a cut off of Ukraine. There's just so much grift. So yes, that's an issue. It's going to be tough. Most people didn't see how bad it was. It was really, really all about grift, and they have to end it. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna let you guys run. I appreciate the evening. It is Friday. Please have a wonderful weekend. But I will see you all tomorrow. I think I will do a long Ukraine show tomorrow. I could bring up Yemen. IC asked me to talk about Yemen. I might do some of that too, maybe. Maybe I'll do some of that stuff tomorrow. Maybe I'll do some foreign policy tomorrow. Maybe I'll do that to give us something, a nice long show tomorrow. Here's what I'm going to ask you all, if you don't mind. Because we talked about history today. Please put in the chat after this is done. After it's over, please come back on, whether you watch on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, whatever it is. Come back and please say, if you don't mind, what you think is one of the most interesting time periods, historical time periods that you find interesting. Anyone, like medieval Japan or whatever, right? Roman Empire, doesn't matter, whatever you think. Colonial America, whatever you think, put it in so I can talk about that. And yes, Mike is happy. I might be doing it. Maybe do foreign policy tomorrow. All right, I'll make Mike happy. Mike makes me happy, but I'll make him happy. All right, guys. I will see you all very soon.